Hello everyone and welcome back to the second part tutorial of how to model a studio microphone. Yeah, the studio microphone. Sounds good, right? So, let's continue. But first, I want you to save the progress. So keep a file, a new file, save a new file with new name and whatever. And every time we end a tutorial part, so make sure you create another save with a new name. Okay, so you will always have a save for the tutorial part that you just watched, and that way we have some backup files, or you have backup files. So after that, by the way, you save like that: file, save scene as, and give it a name and click save and whatever. Now let's grab all of these and click on this. First let's click on this icon and then click on this icon to add this into a new layer. Okay, this is the new layer, and when you double click on it, you can name this. So like, let's give it a name, choke amount. Okay, and save this. Now the reason I'm doing this and adding this to a new layer is because I want to hide this. Okay, so click on this V and hide it, and this part will be a little bit more complicated. You will need to pay extra attention in order to do what I'm going to do, and after this we will see how we maneuver and continue it. So I had to practice on this part in order to make it done. So you will see what I'm going to do. So create CV curve tool. Okay, and basically first let me show you what what I want you to do. We are going to create, okay, to model, draw a line, okay, which will look like this. You will see in a second. Okay, it will look like this and like that. Okay, now this line from the side view will look like this. Okay, so basically, sorry, I will try to do this better. Basically, here you have some kind of you will need to have this stretching strip, and it will go through this kind of hook. Okay, so this is basically what we are going to draw. I'm going to delete this because it doesn't look good. Let's see what will happen. Yeah, this one looks better. So never mind, you will see in a moment what I'm going to create. So create CV curve tool, and this process is very mainly you need to have a little bit more skills on drawing curves using the foreview. Okay, so this is the foreview. Click on it, and you can always approach it by tapping your spacebar. So if you are in the perspective view, you tap on the spacebar and it will bring you the foreview. It's not always like that. It really depends if you played with the settings and stuff like that, so it may be not work. But by default it should work. So spacebar, it's opening this foreview, and then you can put your mouse cursor over each one of those views. This is the perspective view, this is the top view, front and side. So you put your mouse cursor over it, over whatever window you like, hit the spacebar to expand it. So we are starting off with the top view because I want to draw a line. Now the line will be from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units over. No, sorry. The line will be like that. We will bring in the shock mounter, okay, this thing, and I'm gonna start draw a line from here. Okay, this grid line. Click one point here to draw it, and then click one more point somewhere here, very close to this middle grid line. Okay, Now after I've done these two dots, I'm gonna put another dot here, and it's better to count them, okay? So we have one here, 2, 3. Okay, I will undo whatever I did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so sorry, I have 4 here. After these 4, I'm going to switch, hit the spacebar to switch back to the 4 view, and look at the side view. Put my mouse over it, and spacebar to expand this. So this is where the line right now, okay? And I'm going to start and create the hook, okay? So 1, 2, 3, and yeah, this should be a little bit more like that, okay? You really need to make sure you have space in between, even a lot of space, okay? So don't be shy. Use at least 1 unit height, or this, I'm not sure, I just don't want to have surprises later on, so I think that 1 unit above the grid is okay. You see, this is this cube here representing unit, so this is where the line has been started, and now I need to match the number of, I will hide this, number of vertices I had for this neck of this hook. Okay, so 1, 2, and 3. Okay, hit the spacebar, brought back to the top view, and now I will create the hook like this. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to match this, okay? Sorry, here, somewhere here, and 1. Let's see how many I need to have. 1 for 1, 2, 3 here, and 4 here. Okay, the 4 will be here, and from here we need to switch back to the side view, because this is the 4. Okay, it's not aligned to the same point, but we will fix this later on. So 1, 2, I'm using those vertices to make sure it's at the same position like that, and then to the neck here. You can always undo 1 step back if it doesn't work for you, okay? Like this and like that. And now I will bring back shocker amount, switch to the top view, and make sure I'm bringing this point over here, and then hit the spacebar. Okay, so it was a little bit hard, and it ain't going to be easy for you either, but at the end result, this is what I expect you to have, something like that. Okay, now I won't rotate it for now. I just want it to look like this, and I want you to know how it should look like. Okay, this is how it should look like, this CV curve, and you can always come, right click, choose vertices after you made the basic shape, you know, come and adjust it so things will look a little bit more as they should for both sides, like that. Okay, so trying to match things and make it similar through all this curve. Okay, then F8 to bring it back to object mode, and from here what you do, you go over curve and you go over create NURBS primitive, yeah, and turn off the interactive creation. Okay, and then here are the curves. Click on this curve and you will get this circle here, okay? Then scale it to something like that. Less, like that. Okay? Now you need to make sure that the diameter it should be in a size that it will go smoothly along this path. Okay, this is going to be our path, and this is what we will use to extrude and create our polygon mesh. So on top of this one, okay, so this one, what we are going to do, going over surfaces, go over surfaces, choose the extrude options here, and open it like this. You choose the circle, shift, select this one, go over NURBS, okay, make sure it's NURBS. By default it will be like that, so you need to change it to at path, and maybe component, and click apply. So basically this is how it should look like, okay. Well, it doesn't look good because we need to make it a little bit thinner. So what you do from here, you just grab this and you scale this like that, okay, and this is exactly how it should look. Otherwise you've done something wrong, you've done something that won't fit later on. Make sure you create something that looks similar to this one, okay. Then we will be able to continue and do more stuff like that with that, okay. So after we done this, you press Ctrl D to duplicate this and bring this duplicated item up, okay. Now if I will grab these two, okay, in some cases this one will follow, okay, and we don't want this. So first of all, grab these, which are the original parts. Let's add them to a new layer, which we call this layer backup, okay, like this, backup, and save, and then hide this backup layer. Now this one, I want you to go over edit, delete by type, history, and here you click on this icon, which is the channel box. In the translate Y or whatever, you press 0, just bring this back to the grid line level, and here I want you to right click, choose control vertices, and currently there are some vertices here that been a little bit offset, so I think those are the ones, okay, and I will try to bring them somewhat to where they should be, okay. It's not really working here for me, but let's see. Okay, never mind, we will deal with this later. Now from here, what I want you to do is go over modify, convert, NURBS to polygon, click on this little icon here, and it's very crucial right now. What you do is you tick quads, okay, not triangles, quads, and click apply. Click close, bring this up, grab this one, and yeah, this is where you should have delete the history, okay. So now if I will grab this one, it will be controlling this one also. I will show you, see. So I don't want this to be part of this, so just grab this one, go over edit, delete by type, history, and now you can grab this and it's not controlling this part anymore. So this one I'm going to add to the backup layer also, this NURB one, okay. Right click on the backup layer, add selected objects, which is this one that already been selected, and now this one we want to bring back to the 0 point. So now we have a poly mesh and not NURB, and we have few problems. One is that we don't have this line here going all the way to the end, okay, and basically here this part here is a little bit, you know, we need to expand it a little bit by grabbing those faces maybe and try and move them, and you know, do whatever we can to give it some more natural look. And Yeah, like that maybe. Okay, let me go over modify first transformation, and maybe from there I will be able to do whatever I want. Modify center pivot. Okay, vertices. Okay, I'm not really sure what I've done here. Maybe local, default. Yeah, default. Okay, you just double click on this rotation if it doesn't, the rotation is not in the center, and then you change it to default in the menu and close it. Then I can control this that way. Sometimes I'm messing around with let me first pause for a second. I need to do something. Alright, so I'm back, but I had to make me some coffee. So I thought that I ain't going to do this, I ain't going to try and fix those. You have spare time, do this, okay? It's not something I should show you how to do this. You can do this by yourself, just trying to make this angle to look a little bit more smooth. And one more thing is here, those lines that we don't have. So what you do, you hold on the shift, right click, split, right click, and choose the split polygon tool. Now I will show you how to work with the split polygon tool. What you do, you click on, see, I want to start the point from here, so I'm relying on one of those three edges here. Okay, this one or this one or this one. So I click on this one and click and hold and drag this point that you see here all the way so it will snap to this vertex point here, and then I can basically start and click once here, once here, once here in the middle, and continue, and all the way to the end of this thing here. Okay. Now, assuming you understood what I'm trying to do here, yeah, try to close this line with right click, but as you can see I had a little bit problem here, so I assume that I have to do this one by one, create one line in between every time. Okay, sorry. So I'm creating only one line and right click to close this. Okay, 1 point here, 1 point here, right click to close this, and again I assume that you understand what's going on here. So what I will do, I will try to maybe one more time you can just create one line through all those, but it won't always work, so you see. So whatever, you just do it, and you will do this following thing to each one of those lines that you don't have here. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this. And after you done and you did everything, don't be lazy. I know I'm not showing you this. There are things that I can skip, and I feel much more comfortable to skip them than making this tutorial longer than it should. So you make those lines to the tails of those, and then what you do, you grab this thing, hold down the J and flip it on his back like that. Oops, okay, like that. And while it's flipped on the back, you go over here, this menu, choose animation, go over create deformers, and here from the non-linear bend, click this box next to the bend option. Okay, here you type in yeah, let's start with set setting, type here 0, 360, and here something like 1. Let's try 1. Okay, let's try 10. Okay, so I will undo whatever I did, and let's try 10. Apply and curvature, yeah, and after it's done you click close. I will zoom in zoom out, and 1 second. Okay, sorry. So, assuming you created this, okay, you will see this thing, this green circle with this line pointing to whatever point it will be. Now, the thing is that this point, this line should be this line that goes all the way down should go to the side. Okay, so what we are doing is we are switching to the rotation tool with the E key, okay, letter E on our keyboard, hold down the J, and then rotate that way so it will snap 90 degrees, and basically it's 180 degrees, okay, for there to this direction. Okay, then see it flows the same, okay, and it goes like this. And now you come over to the channel box here, this icon, okay, you grab this thing here, where is it, okay, and from the scale values you click and drag, you click left mouse click and drag on top of those three things here, columns or something like that, yeah, and you press 1, okay, and hit enter. Don't worry, they all be changed to 1, but if it doesn't work, just do this one by one. Change all of them to 1 and then press enter, and then the circle will look something like this, okay. Now what I want you to do is grab the move tool, and I will just zoom in. You see the move tool, and you take this arrow, which is this axis that this line goes on top of it, okay, and you start click and drag it to the right like that, okay, and you do this until it gets like this, okay. Now if you will, I want this to be like perfectly on the center of this. You see this arrow is like the center of this, okay, so I need to try and adjust this. Now the best way is just to go over to look at here while I'm moving this, and you can see the values that are moving here are these, okay, so just change it to whatever will close this to rounded number, or you know, precise number like 18 or 17 or 16, just so it will be like that, okay. Now after you've done this, you should have this pivot of your of this thing exactly as like this, okay. So if you done something wrong, probably your pivot will be somewhere else, and then not just somewhere else, it will be a little bit like twisted, okay, and not aligned with the object. So whatever you will do later on, you will need to manually adjust the pivot, but it's not a regular change. It's, you know, it's a little bit procedured thing that you need to do in order to reconfigure the pivot. It's not the same as home and insert that I showed you earlier. It's something else. So just try to make everything exactly as I done and hope for good, okay. And then after this you go over Control D to duplicate this item first, and you then bring this a little bit up like here, grab these two, okay, and add them to the backup layer. Add selected objects, and this one you can go over modify center pivot for it, and bring this, click on the channel box, okay, on this, sorry, this magnet, snap to grid, and bring this exactly to the center of your grid. Later on we just move it over here, few units to this direction, and also rotate this, hold down the J like this, okay. So basically this hook will be straight down, okay, with not like this but like this, okay. After this I want you to bring back the shock amount layer, okay, and I want you to switch to the top view and try and place this like here, okay. Now you can turn off the snap to grid after you center this. I just want to bring this over here and like that, and then back to the perspective view. It should be like this, okay, so it will be a little bit inside, a little bit more tinier circle as like this one, okay. So we are going to create circle from this one, and it should be a tinier circle than this one. So after we set this like that and chose to bring this somewhat like this, okay, yeah, you can use the sphere and somewhat bring this near to it, but not much. And then now we need to adjust the pivot for this, so you press home and click on this magnet, snap to grid, and push this to the middle center of this axis thick lines here, okay. And when it's done, you turn off and press home again, okay. Turn off the magnet, the snap to grid feature, and now you Control D, duplicate this, switch immediately to the rotation tool, and you can do this by tapping on E key, hold down the J and rotate the duplicated item that way, okay. Then when it's 90 degrees, you know it's facing this thing here, okay. Control D again, no, sorry, Shift D, so it will create a copy of this, and then Shift D again. So you will have 4 copies of this thing, and they will create a circle. Now you bring all of them, all of these, sorry, grab all the 4 and bring them up here and turn off the shock amount there. And here what I want you to do is basically try and start clean whatever we don't need. So here we don't need those faces, and we don't need those 4 faces, and delete them, okay. And here in this one we don't need these 4 and this 4, okay. In your case it could be matched, but in my case it didn't match exactly, so I need to make sure I'm bringing those all connection points to be exactly at the same length and get rid of the tails, okay. So then we created those 4, press F8. By the way, in this stage of the tutorial I prefer you to create another save of this progress. So just go over File, Save, and do whatever you need. Maybe I will do this also, File, Save, and I will call it Mike Part 2. I already have one more, so Mike Part 2. And now let's grab all the four of them, Control D to duplicate them, and let's bring them up, okay. So now we want to switch to the scale tool and push this, and you can see here through the channel box, if I will click here and see the channel box, you can see that this scale value is changing while I'm pushing this, okay, see? So I will undo 2 steps that I've done, and now I know that in this point, the start point, before I started to scale this, it was 1, okay. So I want to type in -1, and basically this will invert this upside down, and I can grabbed it and place it here together with all those meeting points here. You see? Like that. Don't worry about what's going on here. Okay? It's not under your concern right now. We are trying to first build the main shape for this, and if you done good by now, so that's all good. Let's bring on the shock amount, and let's bring all those pieces, 8 pieces. We can go over file, sorry, general, and click on group, okay, or just yeah, do this that way. Go over modify right after this and choose center pivot and push this all the way down here. Now let's switch to the foreview and to the front view or the side view, it doesn't matter. I just want to make sure that this is, I'm going to use this spring here, this torus we created, in order to match this to the center. Okay, so we will have this new part we created exactly at the center. So what I'm doing, I'm using this move tool arrows to watch this torus middle edge here, you see this, and this middle axis, and place them exactly on top of each other. So the red one is a little bit off, yeah, maybe more, just like that. Okay, so when you zoom in, you can see the yellow is a little bit to the right, but this is very minor offset, so it doesn't really matter. And the green one, sorry, the yellow one is the same. You can just a little bit bring this down, and this is exactly at the middle of this structure. Now all you'll have to do is first rotate this, so hold on the J and rotate this that direction, and we need to have in between each one of those, okay, this hook, okay, these hooks. So this is how it should be. Now you can also maybe stretch it by scaling it, but don't do this too much because it can mess up with your polygon mesh. So be very gentle, and if you need just a little bit extra, you know, scale, just scale this that way, just a little bit. Don't do this too much, it will stretch eventually and will look awful. So do this very gently again. And also you can scale this a little bit more if you like, and try to understand where you want this to be. But this is the main thing, and this is how it should look like. Okay, so for this part, I assume that it's a bit too much, and we will continue at the next part. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and you learned some new features and stuff like that, and hopefully you did manage to get the same result. So till the next part, thank you for watching, and see you at the next part. Bye.